water. One thing about winter, it is dry. Welcome, everyone. We are live this fabulous Tuesday. Oh, already. We are live. This morning, the whole in the part, the entirety then in a piece, if you will. The reason we're talking about this morning, the whole in the part, or the entirety in the piece, is to remind us that we may look different. Some of us may be ladies, some of us may be gentlemen, some of us may be young, some of us may be experienced. Either way we look at it, we are the entirety of the all in the little part that we see in the mirror. So when you look at yourself, know that you are the whole of creation, the entirety of it. And because you are the whole of creation, you have a part to play. You're not lesser than, nor are you greater than, because you are the whole. You are the entirety of the all. So that's why you're not lesser than, you're not greater than anybody. You are simply the whole. They call them fractals. A fractal is a piece, but it's the whole piece, meaning you will see the entire thing in that one piece. I've said this to you before, as we do in traditional Chinese medicine. We can treat the oracle of the ear and deal with the entire body. We can use the abdomen to treat the entire body, the thumb, the big toe, to treat the entire body. So there's anytime you feel, keyword here is feel, oh my God, I don't know what my purpose is. I might be insignificant. I'm not as good as. Then remind yourself you are the whole. You are the entirety of all. That's what you are. You can't be lesser. You can't be greater because you are all. You're the all in all. Hello. The all in all. This is the key. So perhaps if you are dealing with a situation where you feel like, oh my God, what do I have to contribute? Who am I? I'm not as good as I've always heard I'm not as. Hmm. I dare you to ask yourself. Well, you can't ask me. You have to ask yourself. Really? Am I really the whole? Am I really the entirety in this little tiny piece? Ask yourself that. Why would you ask? Because when you ask, you are answered. That's why. That is why. So today, I don't even know why. I just know that it came and this is what we're talking about. So I don't know who's dealing with anything today, whereas they may feel as if they don't have a part to contribute. They may not feel like they're good enough. Well, that's a lie. Mm? That's a lie. So I don't care what you may have heard from anybody. The law says you are important. You are the full expression of the all with your face. I am the full expression of the law, but my face. Yes?
Well, that goes to the point of I am the Father of one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
'Cause when I tell people, I said I am a God. They say you didn't create the heavens and the earth. I said, did the Father not create the heavens and the earth? Like, just because I'm in a physical body and I have certain limitations and restrictions in the physical body, I still am the all. Just as if I was of water in a glass cup, I may be restricted, but that does not mean that I am not the one.
Exactly. That is the personification of the scripture, just as Marquis said. I and my Father are one. You're one. You are. So the way to combat that sensation or that feeling of thinking from a place of, oh my God, I'm not good enough. First of all, remember, I'm not good enough is only a state. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. And remember, many mansions means states. So if you feel inadequate, it is only a state. It is not what you are, You're just in a state. You're just in a state. So you see, it is simple to overcome. How? By finding the state that you would prefer to be in. So if you feel like, oh my God, I can't. Oh my goodness, I'm not good enough. Remind yourself, oh snap, I'm in a state. Well, this state will not do, but this new one will. And
you
how?
know what? You can always go down to the clerk and get a new room key, because we're in the mansion, we're in the Father's mansion, right? And we got all these rooms. Just go down there and say, "Hey, I think my room key isn't working. I was trying to get into abundance, but I'm in lack. Can you give me a new room key?"
Oh, I love that analogy. I love that visual image. Because is that not what you would do if you could not get into your room? You'd go back to the front desk and get a new key. Because it's not you who can't get in, it's the key. So you see, the problem isn't you. You don't have a problem. Thank Marquise. That was just so on point. So on point. Remember how incredible you are. You see, sometimes we forget because we get caught up. Like Usher. So caught up. We get so caught up. But release yourself from being caught up by remembering, oh snap, that's a state. I can switch it. Right? So how do we do it? How do we switch that state? You see, this morning in fan base, these guys had a particular banter as to who got here first. And they had this laughter about them. You see that sensation of that lightheartedness? Well, that's a state. And you were just in that state of being lighthearted and carefree. You were in the state. Save the memory of that state so that if you find yourself in an undesirable, you can say, wait a minute, I have a state. I remember when I was carefree and lighthearted. What did that feel like again? Bring it up. You always have access to a state. Always. So remember too also, when someone says, you ain't shit, right? Because sometimes that's how, listen, I've heard it that way on this app before. When people say things like that to each other. Remember, they are in a state. They're not attacking you. They're not insulting you. They are in a state. So if they are in a state, they're only wearing the face. So it's not about you. But here, remember, bearing one another's burdens means what? It means if you simply observe and you recognize the sting of their state, you can whisper to yourself, oh, snap, this person's in pain. You know what? They might not want to be in pain. So let me elevate to a state of what? Let me go back to carefree. Let me go back to relax. I remember that state. Well, I want that for them. And be like a Care Bear, like I've mentioned to you many times. Be like a Care Bear and project that state outward towards them. They don't need to know that, but just do it on the side. And that way, you not only did you elevate yourself, you elevated them. So long as they accept it, you've elevated them. Remember that. And that's
And you
how
know what? You
there.
just said a masterful word, right?
Mm.
Projector. We are projectors, not reflectors. So it's not about matching someone's energy, because once you match their energy, it's like getting bad plastic surgery, because you're supposed to be in the image and likeness of God, and God's like, whoa, who's this character? I didn't create that one. I remember creating that Positively Angela one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, that rocks as well. Totally. Because isn't that well? Sometimes isn't that what we do when we say things like, I've got time for you today." When you match somebody's energy or match their state, better yet, what kind of state is it that you're matching? Is it an elevated state or not? Is it a state that you would want to recall in your memory so that you can use it to get back to where you want to be? Or is it going to drag you down? You see, remember, right? You are the whole of creation. You are. I am. And so when we decide that we're going to flit like little hummingbirds from state to state, it better be one that elevates you and one that does not drag you down. And so when we find ourselves, because remember, we live from memories, when we find ourselves reminiscing, is it something that is going to elevate you? If it is not, revise it. How do we revise? You have access to the memory right there and then, and you don't like the way that memory makes you behave currently. How do you want to behave in that moment now? Then revise that memory to match a new behavior right there on the spot. And every time it comes up and you do the undesirable, revise it. Because the more you revise it, it'll stick. Don't fret. It'll stick. And then you will have an old memory with a new experience. Because you can't erase it, but you can reshape it. And this is why when Neville says the potter reshapes the clay. He doesn't just say, oh, look, what a mess, and chucks it. Nah, he reshapes it because the clay is valuable. You are the clay. You are also the potter, right? So don't think for some reason, oh, I don't have value. That is only a state. Switch it because you do have value. What does value feel like? What does appreciation feel like? I'm sure there was some time you experienced appreciation in your life somewhere. You flip through the Rolodex. You say, wait a minute, have I ever experienced appreciation? What's that feel like? Searching, 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 and you flip through till you find it. Because we all have memories. We do have them.
Hey, listen, a state is only a mind trip away.
Yes. Yes, it is. Indeed. So you see, we're never stuck. Ever. You're not stuck in any undesirable place. You have the power to flip it. Oh, dear Lord. Put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
You need that.
Missy Elliott. But that's what I'm trying to tell you here. You gotta become flip mode. If you remember Busta Rhymes, it's the flip mode squad. Flip mode squad.
Exactly.
We are the flip mode squad. That's been bumping in my head for the longest. Right? Say that flip mode. Right? But you see, now remember this moment right here and how it made you feel. Remember this moment and how it made you feel when Oracle Treehouse said, the flip mode squad. And if you don't know Buster Rhymes, that's all right. Listen, it is simply the art, because what you're doing when you change states, you're doing mental transmutation. You're not denying what's in front of you. You're saying, I see you and I don't want it. Or I see you, I'm gonna keep this one. So here's what you do then when you're going out into the world. You're going to encounter situations, states. Some of them will make you feel, oh wow, that was awesome. That was wow, that's what accomplishment feels like. You know, when you did something and it's done and you feel accomplished and you feel, yeah, that's an accomplishment. Store that for later use because you're going to want to feel accomplished again. So the next time you want to feel accomplished about a certain thing, what's the thing you want to feel accomplished about? And pull up the sensation that you had that was accomplishment. Now those two things match. Project that out because that's what you want. This is how you are creating from a particular state. The energy hasn't gone anywhere. The state hasn't gone anywhere. It's always there for you to use. So that's why I tell you, if you get up one day and you feel like, oh my God, uh, I can't do this. Remember, wait a minute, I'm only in a state. I'm part of the flip mode squad. I can change.
And guess what? Guess what? If you don't have your own imagination, your own reference points, you can use somebody else's reference point just by imagination, right? So let's say, for example, I used to be like, "Wow, I wonder how it feels to be a celebrity and live and going into those nice hotels." So just great big posh hotels, and my money's no good. They just let me into them, right? So I'm like, that's how it feels to be that person. But even if I'm imagining how that person feels, I'm imagining the state. And it's all about a game to match the state. It was a mind trip away.
Absolutely correct. I was just in the chat scrolling. Man, you see? So remember that part. Remember that you are the entirety, but just wearing your face. And so whoever you encounter is also the entirety wearing their face. So if you encounter someone and, like I said, they're persnickety, flip the state. Bear one another's burdens. It doesn't take anything because the more you practice flipping states, not just for you, but for others, you're going to learn something about yourself. Indeed, you will. Don't worry about, is it going to work? What do you want? Plant the seed for that state and help a sister out, help a brother out as we walk through the world.
Hey, hook a brother up.
Right. And he's right there.
Please and thank you.
And he's right there, right? That's exactly what it is. So the next time, because I know Delight, she's in a hotel right now, she says, and she had to stop and look for her room key. So that's what you're doing with your states. Day in and day out. So don't fret and worry about, oh no, what if? What if I can't? Now, if you are going to entertain what if, it better be a, hey, what if this worked out? I wonder what that would be like. This is why Neville says use the imagination wisely. Don't, especially if you're in a low state and you use your imagination to come up with the worst case scenarios, what are you doing? But flip it right away. Catch yourself. Acknowledge what you're doing, though. You're like, oh, yes. Okay, I don't want to be in that state. I see it. I don't like it there. Where do I want to be? What state? I can remember a time when, and you find it. That's why if you go through the line and somebody buys your coffee for you, see that feeling right there of appreciation? Oh wow, thanks so much. Well, now you want to pay it forward, right? If you are in a position to pay it forward, do it. And so then you pay it forward and that feels good to you. Remember that state of paying it forward, of being a
I'll give you an
blessing.
example of that too.
Yes, please.
My son, I wanted to get some blood work done, and the doctor was like, "Well, you know, the insurance won't cover it." I'm like, I didn't ask what will be covered. I said I wanted this done, right? So he's like, "It's kind of expensive." I'm like, "I legitimately don't care." So, so I said, I'm not asking for your recommendation. I'm telling you what I want done, right? So he's like, okay, fine. I'll write it up. He said, so he's wrote it up, send me the prices of it and all this, right? So my wife goes to go pay for it, and they say it's already been paid for.
You see, I am glad for that share there, Marquise. Because most of us stop where? Oh, okay, then I won't do it. Remember the state. What state? You want a state of it is done. I have no worries. That state. That's it. So you see, all things are possible to them that believe. Every single example that we hear from each other in the space is there as an edification of the spirit. Because faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And the more you hear, the more you get riled up to do what? Practice and be a doer. That's why it's important to hear from one another, because it helps us in a much bigger way than we can see at that time. It truly does. Like, what a beautiful story. See what I'm saying to you today?
Positively.
Yes, dearest.
I've been just snapping my fingers and saying it's done for months. And yesterday, my niece, she was laughing at me. She said, at first, I thought you were crazy when you just sit there and you just sit back and say it's done. And she said, now I'm doing it. And she said it's so much easier.
I hope y'all heard that one. Shoot, I hope you all felt that one. I hope you felt it. Because it's a state, too. See what she did? Sugar Visions, my beautiful flow smile, stayed faithful to the state of it is done. So much so that when the harvest came in, that harvest has already influenced somebody else to do the same. You see why you got to be faithful? You're not just being faithful for you, because you're already all. You're being faithful in general. And she just bore one another's burdens. That is the personification of it right there. Now somebody else saying, oh my God, you see, this is how they always start out. I thought you were crazy. That's how it always starts. Until they start seeing things happen in your life, right? This is what it means when it says, go ye into the world and make disciples of all men. It does not mean that you out there beating people up with your holy text. It means you are sharing your experiences. That's what it means. Oh my God, you'll never believe what happened. That's how you make disciples, because they want to know, wait, how did you do it? How did you do it? Show me how you did it.
Yeah, what Reverend Ike said, you can't lose with the stuff I use.
You got bars.
Bar right there, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Ike.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. So when I tell you that you are the whole in the part, see, we can only see this little tiny sliver, but everything you need to know is in the sliver. Everything. So don't feel like you don't have anything to contribute, because the same way that we can latch ourselves onto the low down part, that kind of a state, is the same way we can elevate ourselves with a new state. Don't think you don't have any value. Don't think, well, who's going to notice? Everybody notices because we all looking. That's the thing. We're all looking. We're all watching each other. We are. So that's why the phrase that came to mind, Flo Smiles, was each one teach one. It came to mind as soon as you said what you said. Because you didn't lead by what you were saying. You led by what you were doing. You were not just a hearer of the word, you are a doer of the word. And that's the thing when I tell you people watch, they observe, they do. So live to the fullest, because this is how we bear one another's burdens. This is how we lift each other up from the mire and the clay on a daily basis, just by being faithful to the state. This is what we do. So I trust now that when you go out into the world and you encounter states, good, bad, or indifferent, everything has its purpose. You store the information that is most helpful. And if you come across something and you're like, ooh, I didn't like, revise it right there and then. Because what you're doing is you're taking, as the scripture says, you have ashes? Here, I'm going to flip it to what? Beauty. A state. This is what he's telling you day in and day out. So the next time you hear scripture, hear it through a different set of ears. Hear it from a different state. And you will understand. Because if you hear it from a state of, oh my God, the church totally blindsided me and ruined my life. If you hear it from there, you'll hear it through an ear of what? A bitter state. You're not meant to be bitter. That is only a state. You can flip it. Find a state. How do you find it? You have either experienced it already, or you can do it vicariously because somebody else has, which is why the mirror neurons, hello, you have to use everything at your disposal. You've been given everything. That's why the mirror neurons are so important. You can watch somebody do the thing that you want to do and celebrate it, because that is a state. Because now you can put yourself in that state and go, oh my goodness, I did it. And celebrate yourself and flip yourself into the state you want to be in. As opposed to, oh God, there you go again. You think you're so special. Why are the good things always happening to you? Now you block yourself. So today, remember that you are the whole in the part. The part is just your face, that person's face, that person's, because we look different, don't we? We speak different languages, but there is only one consciousness, one God. And it's
Guess
in
what?
you.
Even if you don't acknowledge it acknowledges you.
Hey.
And it'll still be working and doing exactly what you programmed it to do, just like the universal remote.
See? Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm telling you this morning. Even if you don't feel a particular, I'm just not. That is only a stage. And even if you feel that way, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So that whatever is inside of you, I am, is inside of you. It's telling you. I know you might not believe that I'm here, but I am. It's telling you. That's why Marquise could tell you that just now. Let's take a brief moment, shall we? And let's welcome everyone into the space. Hey, Vibes! And Root and Beezy, welcome. Welcome. Oh, well, sweet tea, hello. It's good to see you all here on Twitter today. And for the replay gang on Twitter, Lilith V22. I see you all. Oh, what a blessing it is to see you all. right there on Twitter. Facebook and YouTube, Goddess Pure Diamond. Hey, Ruby. Spiritual Treasures, I see you. Sugar Visions, Joaquin. Shea Butter, A Not, Cyber, Asanya. And the ones who've not made themselves known. The Better Man, Jeff. I see you. I know you're here. Indy on Facebook. Fanbase. Ooh, there's 16 people here. Hello, listen, we're on a roll, fanbase. Zeesty is here. Comrade Darling is here. KZ. Frederick. I haven't said that name. And every time I say it, I remember my granddaddy. Hello, Frederick. Summer Rose. Flo Smiles. Hook a brother up. Listen, there's only one way to say that, okay? Hook a brother up. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Stephanie. Matthias. Mgenie. Afternoon Delight. Yeah, my melanin. Zola. Oracle Treehouse. Marquise. It is so good to see you all here. It is absolutely beautiful to see you all. I'm trying to read through the chat. You guys got me all caught up in here. I'm loving this chat on Fanbase.
I love it too. You know what I was thinking about? I was like, when you realize that you are that I am, right? It's similar to that Eminem commercial when it's like they do exist. You remember that
one? Oh my goodness, I love it because it's true. I love her though. That I think she's the red Eminem. I love her. But see, that's a state too. The moment you bring, you see how we do it? Do you see how we live from our memories? How many memories did Marquise pull up this morning? That's what we do. That's how we live from our memories.
He had me bring up a memory too. I've experienced someone paying for my coffee, and it's the coolest thing ever. And then I've been through what is it? It's the Starbucks line. I know people ain't going to Starbucks like talking about, but back in the day when they were doing the paying for the person behind you. Yes, that I've ran into that too. Like it's the coolest feeling ever because it's like you wasn't expecting it. So yeah, I love it.
Right. So now when you recall that memory, that was a state because of how it made you feel. And so now when you encounter something and you want to feel that particular way again of, wow, that was unexpected, but so beautiful. And you were in a state of acceptance. What is it you need to accept? Find the state of acceptance. It could have been the coffee that you accepted. Whatever you accepted was irrelevant. So long as it made you feel good. This is the point here. Remember that and call it up because it's a state. You want to feel acceptance? You want to be reminded of what acceptance feels like because you don't feel accepted by the world? Bring up acceptance within yourself. Because there was somewhere just like that memory from Oracle Treehouse. Somebody made her feel accepted by what? Paying for her coffee. You mean just like that? Yes. Pull up the memory because the memory made you do something. It moved you because it felt a particular way and you want to feel that way again. You want to feel that way again. Well, bring it up. The energy hasn't gone anywhere. The state is always there. Remember it and call it forward so that you can use it for another time in another situation where you want to be accepted or you want to help someone feel acceptance. That's what you're doing.
You're changing the molecular structure of your brain and your cells. I've been fascinated with that lately, with the whole cell thing and how our cells respond to our actions, our emotions, and stuff like that. You are changing the molecular, I can't pronounce it right today, molecular structure of your body, of your brain cells. Think about it when the whole trauma thing, that changes your brain cells, your molecular structure too. So if you keep bringing up these awesome feelings of when these awesome memories, you are changing that molecular structure of your praying of your body, of your cells. So you attract more of that. Notice how that happens. People who are always thinking in trauma, they're always attracting trauma because they embedded it into their molecular structure. But if you are always in this state, you're revising, rebringing up these awesome memories, you're changing that structure, and therefore you're attracting more awesome things that happen to you. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Molecular, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I can't pronounce it. Molecular structure. Oh my God, molecular structure. Yes.
Because that's what it's the law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. Right? You are constantly telling your body what state to be in. That's what you're doing. So clearly, the molecular structure has to follow suit. It has to bear witness to the invisible. So you see, it may seem like woo woo and science is only just catching up to it, but it's been there all along by way of law. Thank you for sharing that, Oracle Treehouse, because it's facts on facts.
You're welcome. Have y'all heard of a book called oh my God, The Power of Eight? I can't think of the chick who wrote. She wrote the book, The Intention Experiment. Oh my God, I can't. Her name escapes me, but if you put in Google, The Power of Eight, she basically wrote a book talking about people who set intentions in groups and how the whole group is affected. We're all being affected right now on a molecular structure, being in these rooms. Yesterday, yes, we've had other days like this before. Everybody who's been in this room regular, but yesterday was so freaking powerful. Everybody got affected, and here we are back again, just vibing in each other's vibes. And even though we're in different places, we're still together on this app, feeling something. So I felt the need to bring that book up. Go figure.
But no, that's scripture personified. Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. That's why you can have 14 people who can change a particular neighborhood because they're all mentally connected for one outcome. Tower of Babel, anybody? You see? Oracle Treehouse, that was profound. Thank you. It really was. So today, the reminder is this: you are the entirety with your face. In part, the whole in the part, the entirety in one piece. That's what you are. So begin to see your value. You have to see it. I can't see it for I can tell you it's there, but you got to feel around and feel around. Oh, there it is. You got to find it because it's there. It's not hidden from you. It's not hidden. That's why when you say, well, I don't understand, show me or tell me, you'll get it. You have value. Incredible value. Well, begin to find that state and walk like you have value. Speak like you have value. Behave like you have value. Because you do. Not because I'm telling you, but that's the way it is.
So you mean to tell me that my value is intrinsic and nothing can remove me from the love of the Father? And so much so that since I came from the Father and the Mother, I am the Father and the Mother?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Thank you.
That is exactly what I'm telling you. This is why you got to remember that nobody can take your power from you. You have to give it. They can't take it. It's not theirs to take. It is only yours to give. So if you think you may have said, oh, but I gave my power away, well, then you say, wait a minute. Well, that's mine. I take that back. That's mine.
So you mean no man can take my life unless I lay it down?
Scripture personified. That is exactly correct. You have to lay it down because you are the operant power.
And if I lay it down, I can pick it back up, right?
Indeed. See how powerful you are? You get to lay it down and you get to pick it up. So you see how valuable you are? Like I said, you don't have to believe me. Observe it for yourself. So if you don't see it, what are you seeing instead? Well, that's the state you're in mentally. And you know how to flip a state now, don't you? Yes, you do. So just practice. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes to flip it. That's what you do. There's another song there. I heard it from that movie. What's the name of the movie? You know, the music, they sing so much pitch perfect. Dun, 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 dun. And that's the melody I remember. Flip it, that song. You can do this. You are doing it. And the more you practice, the better you get at doing it and the easier it becomes. That's why I tell you, acknowledge what you got going on. Don't pull an Angela and say, no, it's not. Presumptuous denial will never accomplish what you want. Acknowledge what is happening. Acknowledge it. You say, oh my God. Ugh, I don't like it though. Just acknowledge it and then decide if it is worthy of you. And if it is not, well, then what is? Find that state because now you know how to find a state. You go anywhere and you get great service. And you say, oh, me? Why, thank you. That's a state. Appreciation.
And it's easy to separate what's right for you, right? Because guess what? If it's not multiplying you, it's dividing you. What is it dividing you from? Being one with the Father and the Mother.
Booyakasha. That was awesome because it's so true. It's so on point, man. It is so on point. So today, as we go out into the world, remember who you are. Remember, you can change states on a dime. Remember, you can elevate your brother. You can elevate your sister. And this is why Neville Goddard says you can walk through the marketplace and encounter God. Because you're looking at God. And you'll learn much about the self and others. Right? So, let me get the bowl for us. I hear you, baby. I hear you. Let's get that bowl. I trust today made sense and that we will apply. We will be doers of the word. To be a doer means, well, let me roll up my sleeves and test this out. You think Flo Smiles became as phenomenal as she is with her tasty masterpieces of cakes and creations by not practicing?
Hey, can I say something?
Zola, go ahead, honey, go ahead.
Hey, I really like what Marquise said earlier about that testimony of your son, trying to get the medical care he needs. It's just like a perfect example of like the negative energy is always trying to tell you no or you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're so used to just trying to tell you no or you don't qualify or you can't have this, and instead of just like they totally bypass your question. Like you didn't ask, do I qualify? You said, hey, my son needs this or my child needs that. And they're just like, oh, no, your insurance doesn't cover it. And it's like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be customer service. You're supposed to be professional. You didn't hear nothing I said. It's like you got to turn away some money just because you're unprofessional and you didn't hear what I had to say. But I have that same attitude about life lately because, I'm so used to like having to take a lot of, shit from people whether it's family or friends or just the world or my job. And it's just like, I'm in that mindset now where it's like, especially when it has to do with my child, you know, you're not going to just tell me no and I'm going to accept it and walk away. Like, your answer is not the final answer. It's not even the right answer, you know? And I know some people are just, I be putting in complaints about people, you know. I just like, we need those type of people to either be retrained or be a little more professional. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, those are the type of people that give you a hard time. You know, especially if you're on the phone with them and you know, they're like giving you the runaround or circles, and then you get back to that one right person, and that one right person is professional and they listen to what you have to say, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, all we need to do is this, and this is the amount for you, and you go through all that hell, and it's like, okay, we need to stop these type of people from being in charge and from working or retrain them. And it's not even so much I'm trying to get people fired. It's just, you know, it's just like, pay attention to my question. Like, you're giving me, you know, the runaround, you're giving me a hard time. I know this situation is kind of small compared to what I'm talking to as far as difficulty, but, you know, it's just the same concept. It's like, why people are just, it's like they're conditioned, their mind is so trained to be negative. So, but I love that you stood up and was like, no, that's not what I asked.
No, I'll tell you, it's very simple to do because, first of all, when you go to the doctor, understand this. They're practicing medicine, right? So that means that when I go on YouTube and Instagram, I'm doing the same thing as them, if not greater, right? So that being coupled with the truth that my mom, who's a nurse and listening in right now, shout out to my mama, right? But that being coupled with that, I'm like, hey, my mom just told me this is the protocol I want to follow. So I understand what your understanding is, and I know you may think that I don't have money, right? I understand that. But here's the thing, I do. Because my resource is infinite. It's there not tethered to this earth. It's tethered to I am. So I have way more money that you could even understand or encapsulate with your words. So when I walk in here and I tell you what I want, I'm not asking you if you can't do it. Like I told you, if you can't do it, I'll go to another doctor. This is not I'm not playing a video game with you. This is real life. You're going to do what I'm telling you to do, and you're going to submit to my will. Simple as that. Or I'll go somewhere else and find somebody who will take this money from me. Okay? Simple. It's not hard at all. I'm retraining myself to know it's not hard, and at the same time, I'm retraining you to do what the fuck I'm telling you to do. Excuse my language.
Oh, no, I love it. I love it. It's very much needed to be said.
See, this is how we encourage one another on a daily basis with the sharing of what we experience, but always bringing it right back to you are the operant power. You are. And if you are, if you hear the one moment, please, and you have to hold, okay, you hear that? Get into the state you want to be in before they get back on the line. You got this. I'm telling you, this is how you help a brother out. This is how you help a sister out. Get into that state while you're on the phone, while you're on hold. And don't be worried about the elevator music that you hear. Don't worry about that. Use that time to get yourself into the mental state you want to be in so that you don't want to have to argue. You don't want to have to fight. What do you want? Ease and effortless. That's what you want. Get into that state. Get your mind there that says, you know what? This works out nice and easy because I say it. I am an imitator, like a dear child of God. I get to call those things that are not as though they were, and they become. That's what you do right there and right then. Don't even give in to the mood that can say, oh my God, how is this going to go? Tell it how to go. That's what we do. You tell it how to go. Practice. Tell it. Tell it like it is. You know how it is. But you got to tell it. Tell it to be the way you want it because you are the operant power. You're molding it and shaping it the way you want it to be. Remember what potter means? Potter means imagination. So mold and shape your imagination, and the exterior will match. But I hear it, and I feel you, and I get it. Because, like Marquis said, I'm retraining myself. Because think about, just like you said, Zola, we've been conditioned to be so, that's what. But because you are the whole in the part, now you can be your best. In spite of whatever programming that we were given previously, we can override it at every turn just by being aware that it is there in the first place. And to acknowledge it and say, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. What am I again? I'm the operant power? What's that feel like to be in control? What does that feel like to command the situation? But then you got to start feeling like a general in the army. What does that feel like? You got to feel like a gladiator. What does that feel like? It takes me all the way back to gladiators running. That's what it takes me back to. You got to have that control. Take control. Take it because it is yours. And start using it. And you notice when you take the control, you're not beating anybody down with your control. I just need you to see that part because that's not what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're being like Flo Smiles and you saying, it is done. That's what you're saying. You're saying it is done. And you snap your fingers. She programmed herself that every time she says it is done and she snaps her fingers, it is done. It's so brilliant. That's what you're doing. So do it with boldness. Boldness and confidence and surety of self, sure-footedness. You listen, you have it in the bag. You just do. K. Chanel and Walter, hey. Y'all gonna have to catch the replay unless you've been here this whole time. But that's what I'll tell you this morning. You have it. You do. All things are possible to them that believe. Because what's it say in the scripture? Whatsoever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and you receive it. Whatsoever you ask for. And notice it is not a please, sir, can I have some more? That's begging. That's not asking. Asking is, wait, what do I want again? Taking command. That is what you're doing. Day in and day out. Let me get the bowl for us. Let me get the bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, drop in. My sweet, you'll have to catch the replay. Tonyo, you'll have to catch the replay too. Vibes, sweet wellness, and root. Oh, it was awesome having all of you here in Twitter this morning. Incredible to be in your presence. Thank you all for being here on Twitter, and you know I love you. I will see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, for our Neville Goddard lecture. It's about to be lit. Absolutely amazing. Much love to you, Twitter. Much love. Twitter is closed. YouTube and Facebook. Ruby. Joaquin. Walter K. Chanel. Goddess Pure Diamond. Spiritual Treasures. So good to see you. Yes, Keisha, darling. Sugar Visions. Shea Butter, A Not Cyber, Asanya. And for the others who've not made themselves known, I see you. And Facebook, Indy. Hey, girl. I will see you all tonight. Much love to you all. Much love.